don't even really want to talk to them unless they're donating money, um, because of the simple fact that it's a waste of time and a waste of creative and spiritual energy when you have teachings like this that thought in them probably made in our day and time what would be equivalent to trillions. I ain't talking about no billions and all of that stuff, but trillions of dollars, and just the time and it took, and and the dedication it took to be able to even come up with this doctrine that you listening to every day. You watching it on the news every single day. You listening to it in your car every single day when you listen to this so-called music. I don't really care what genre it is. Um, it's called the occult. When you go to church every day, yeah, that's right, synagogue, mosque, you're listening to these things, these same teachings. They're just different MCs, masters of ceremony, that essentially took the time to be able to master these teachings and to turn around and deliver them in a fashion that is most suitable. So that started, from our research as early as the 1800s, when you had teachers that would come up, kind of like griots, and they would recite and tell stories about our history, whether it was our African history, whether it was our Roman history, whether it was our Russian history. They would come and tell these different stories, and they came in different cultures or whatever, and eventually over time they became what's called master of ceremony. They started out as being deemed and named prophets. Oh, and back in the 1800s, most of your prophets that you read about in the Bible was actually based upon a play that took place in the 1800s. Okay, so let's start with a play. So a play is essentially what you live in this life to these particular individuals, whether they're the prophets or whether they're the soothsayers or those that decided to come against the prophets and rob them and even assassinate them of their character and even physically for their body, to be able to embalm them and turn them into pharaohs. This is why a lot of the prophets were sacrificed. And this was all a part of a play, essentially, that was put together by what you would call the priesthood, the magi, and different babalaos is a good term to use for this particular reference, that was used in this particular play to be able to turn around from this particular play and create what you call life. Like, I like my life. Do you like living? Type of thing. So let's go into what is your life? Like, what do you do every day? And on average, most people, if they're an adult, their life centers around working. Not their spouse, not their husband or wife, working. You spend more time working and creating wealth. Well, so-called creating wealth, but actually taking from wealth, essentially, is what working is. You get a W-2 form in all caps that you file from taking away from people's wealth and being created and transformed into working. And then you're turned around and ask for a donation, and you can't give it because you're saying, well, you need to work like me. When you don't know if this person that's asked you for a donation was the one that funded and created your contract, and they may be asking you for a donation for credit to keep the books balanced. Why do nonprofits and stuff like that exist in this particular society? Well, the answer is because of the fact that there has to be a certain amount. When you study taxes in society, there has to be a certain amount of donations that take place, just like there's a certain amount of business and profit transactions that must take place. And it's no different when it comes to doing business and economics as a nonprofit, when you're in the midst of a bunch of so-called for-profits that at the end of the fiscal year have to get rid of a certain amount of money that they were lended. And if they don't dispose of this money, it causes what's called inflation. when people hold on to money and save money excessively, it's just called inflation. It's the same thing. You're excessively holding on and saving money. And this is all relevant to why I don't see the need to come up here and talk to these people for free anymore. And I won't even accept, like I won't even respond if it's not enough money, because it's a disrespect to these teachings that not millions, trillions of dollars were invested into, the equivalent of trillions of dollars, what I'm propagating right now to people, is what these particular messengers and prophets put up to be able to invest into what you would call your secret societies, a lot of your religious and occult and the spiritual orders. All of this was essentially based upon these particular teachings that had to have came from somewhere. See, that's what people take for granted. And it had to have been based on something. Now, some people say time never was, and we've always had this knowledge, and we've lost it and gained it, and there's no authorship, essentially, behind these teachings. There's no, essentially, an author or someone that you can attribute to being the person that, or the individual or group even, that coined these particular teachings. They believe that it's just been regenerated and recycled over time, and that's why it's considered what some people call the free world or free information. And even to the point where the internet made this mistake, they called this the free world when they first put out the internet, and thinking that everything was free because you have a free way to trade information for free. And later on they found out the internet came from BankNet, and it wasn't free. It was based on a banking system. Actually, it was very much not free, believe it or not. The exact opposite. Very expensive tool that was released to you, and now everybody says that everything that they do on this particular internet is free, and they don't have to really be responsible. So this creates laziness. Not that you don't want to work, that's not what I'm talking about. Mental laziness, because you don't want to get out of the situation of life. And I'm about to go back to that. So in this play, let's go back to the 1800s. They created life based upon this play. They gave you a life. Everything that you do in this society is based upon this particular play that was created in the 1800s and turned into what's called your biblical story. That, of course, we know in the 1700s was recycled, and it came from the Book of the Dead and things of that nature. And that's taking you back further, but we can't start there. See, that's the problem. They want to say the Bible is 6,000 years old and stuff like that, or even 2,000 years old. But you can't say that. The reason why you can't say that, it's either 2,000 years old, 6,000 years old, and all of these terms, these thousands that you put on it, not hundreds, because it's hundreds, is what I'm getting at. Hundreds of years. Most of your history, your life that you live is based on hundreds of years. You can't really talk about thousands of years because of the fact that this Bible was extracted from greater portions of the Book of the Dead and the Book of the Earth. And it was taken from the Book of the Dead and the Book of the Earth and put into what you would call your biblical stories, and then turned into your priesthood and things of that nature, and then eventually led into cinema, arts, things of that nature. So when you start talking about really the stories of the Bible and the play was based upon art first, though, and then it became a spell at some point that was cast upon you, a religious spell that was cast upon you and called the Bible, and the play that began to play out. So for me studying all of this, I finally got to the point where I found the authorship, or what I would call the origin, or the point of origin. Once I found the point of origin, I was slowly and surely pulled out of the internet world and the free world, and I'm moving into, or was moved actually, because it's already happened. This is where I've been in my absence, into the film world, and I don't like using that word actually, the theater, to the realm of how these particular movies are actually created. And I was put into that by force or whatever. So in that, I've been taking up various different roles since my induction into this. And I was instructed on not only how this world works, but how movies and film, and how you can actually use art and film to affect change in this world way more effectively than you could teaching people, getting up on a podium or a rostrum, or even getting to the point of, or even music, rapping to people, singing to people, making yourself look the best that you can, getting surgeries and all of this stuff so that you can be presentable when you can get into the film industry. And that's what I was moved into. You could be a normal person, and I don't like using the term film, but theater, again, you could be a normal person essentially in this particular business, or even understatement of a normal person, a vagabond in this particular business, and still be able to be worth millions of dollars because of the scales. Now we're gonna get into the scales of what people are paid now and what stuff is worth, and based upon what it's really worth in the comparison. So what do I mean by that? You watch these movies and these things of that nature, and you hear about the millions of dollars that were invested into these movies to create these movies, right? Not realizing that these movies were worth really trillions of dollars when you get into the back material and what it took, and then the fact that in Hollywood nothing is original, no content that's written in Hollywood is original, and everything is recycled or re-rocked or like a rerun on television essentially, and just rewritten and put into a particular point in time in our reality and our existence essentially. So when they put out movies, it's based upon a time period of what they feel like needs to be talked about, the type of doctrine that they feel like needs to be demonstrated. And you give me a second, I'm gonna put you guys on hold for a minute. Oh, because he got my other phone and he got Messenger on here. So it's not that, you know, or you don't know, but you should know. It's not that I feel like I'm better, or other individuals that decided to withhold information, because we're moving to a time now where we were instructed, a lot of the higher up so-called priests, MCs, actors, and people that are in the theatrical world or music world, were told to hold back on putting out as much material this year, starting in September the 11th. I told you guys about this. There was going to be a silence. Put you on hold again. So you were essentially silenced. Still, I need to do one more time. And essentially silenced and put into a different sphere, because they want to go ahead and finish out what should have been finished out with this unlimited progress that I talked about years ago, that was supposed to come to the occult, or come into the realm of the occult in this world, how the occult was going to become unhidden, and it was going to essentially become transparent, is what's happening now. The cause is becoming transparent, and with that, the value of it is going to go up because anytime you put parental controls on anything, the security controls, it increases. That's one thing people don't realize. It increases the value. So now, where am I getting at? Like, what am I exactly saying when I'm saying that I'm not really teaching people anymore? And it's because I moved into theater. So now, like, when I share videos, I'm just sharing what I've been going through. And if it's some knowledge in there that could help a person when I'm talking, cool. And if not, I mean, that's understood as well. If you're looking for the more deeper, meditative spiritual teachings that a lot of these gurus can offer you, I mean, I understand that there's plenty of them out there. But what I do is essentially is a role that has to be played based upon a play that was started, like I said, in the 1800s, and now we've gotten to the point where in the 2000s where we've moved into the future of this particular play without actually being able to what I call visa or pay off the past. And that's where the mistake came in at. So you weren't able to pay off the past. So what's basically happening is that now we're stuck in the realm of the future and the past, or what you call now, and we're stuck in the middle of that. You call this now, but you're going to find out there's no such thing really as now. There's no such thing as that. Everything is either scripted in this matrix, and everything that you do is being watched. I'm gonna go into the final closing of this, of why I'm not really speaking anymore. And things that you think about even are hooked up to an apparatus or a machine. And when I get hooked up with Denzel the other day, he showed me. I'm gonna give you a real example. I've been meeting all these actors now. I'm getting into the realm. So I'm starting to meet a lot of people. So he was like, when I met him, he was, I'm gonna show you. And he gave me a real example or whatever, and put me into a deeper contract with this film things. I'm working on an actual film role with him or whatever. And that's what I want to ask you guys. Like I said, I'm not gonna do this for free, but for the people that I'm making this for, the particular sisters, it's a group, two sisters actually, women. I'm using the term sisters from that perspective, or females. I have to be very descriptive. That wanted me to actually talk about this. They're my followers outside of just YouTube, and they kind of know what's going on with myself and the movement outside of just YouTube. So they were like, put up something to YouTube, to us, so we can kind of like get your full measure on it instead of just talking to the satellite, because that's what I do a lot of right now is communication through satellite. I don't even need phones anymore because of how I'm kind of hooked up in this theatrical slash film world. I can kind of go through satellite communications to communicate with people all across the world, which is good, without making videos, because people don't like this publicly. They don't really want to hear this, and I don't want to plan on putting out videos every day anymore. Unless I just feel the need to, for whatever reasons. But I don't really see that anymore. When it's like if I just need something, I'll just make a video and put it out. So like I want to go ahead and finish on part 2 of this film that I'm working on with Denzel. And he was like, just see if you can get people in your community to donate at least $7 to your PayPal, which is 13, the number, signs, plural, astrology at gmail.com. That's it. $7. Period. I mean, if more than one person donates it, that's fine. But we just need $7 to continue this play, and to be able to go ahead and correct this so that it can fix the economy. See, I have a political agenda as well with what I do, because I'm very good at economics. So not only am I an artist, as far as being able to produce on the street, a street artist, but I'm also able to produce on the matrix level, on a higher level, because I'm like more of a spiritual scientist. So what I mean by that, not only like on the streets do I do work, but I do work on film and on the background as far as with particular artists to create material for Hollywood, or for people that write books even, and working on some stuff for them too, to be able to set a stage for something for you to write about. That's what I do. And then other artists may come in and make it look better, and that's fine. And this is what you call a play. And that started in the 1800s, that we got stuck in now. So now we're stuck. I'll close with this. And this is what I'll talk about maybe when I finish part 2 with Denzel. We'll go into that. But so now we're stuck essentially. And he's done this as a donation to help me. Mind you, I'm gonna tell you that. He gave me a donation. So when I talk about people don't need money to be rich, it's an example. I can't really tell you how much this is worth. I know it's worth over $1 million in cash. You work with Denzel Washington. Come on. It's got to be just the fact that you're working with him. I mean, I'm sure he's made over that and making films and things of that nature. So I consider it a donation, the fact that he's helping me like this. So when I'm asking you guys for money, it's because if that's how it works, he's not going to just give you $1,000. It's just not how it works. They're like, well, you got all these friends and celebrities. Why don't they give you the money? Let's ask them comment man for money. It's not how it works. They don't just give out cash. A lot of times, their money, a lot of times in their hand. We'll talk about that. And AI, I got to get into that. They want me to do an episode on AI. But it's got to be enough money. I told them if I'm going to do an episode on AI until I see, I don't care if it takes a year, until I see like a G hit my account, which is a lot of money to me because they don't donate like that to me. But if I see like a G hit my account, I'm not going to go into this 4 or 5 hour lecture on AI that I could go into and help you to understand that and what's really going on with that. So like what I'm really here on this episode is to talk about street art and how it's not going to be free anymore. Even just talking about it, from me, my perspective, y'all, like it's not, nothing I do is not going to be free. When I say street art, I do stuff off outside just talking. A lot of it is silent. It's stuff that I do, and some of it is considered illegal, but I'm a national. In your society, it's considered illegal. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not legally part of your society. I'm an international, and I only have to abide by your society's rules during certain hours of the day, of which we'll talk about in the future, hopefully, but maybe not. I don't know. So whatever, like people donate to that account. If they leave notes, that's what I kind of go into. If they leave a certain amount of money, that's like a message, I'll make a video on that. And that's kind of what I do now. So I don't really have an agenda anymore on this channel as far as like, okay, we're going to be talking about Tahuti and the spiritual teachings of Ma'at and how light was used and 7 rays were used to be able to create the human existence. There were 7 lights that were used. Like I could go into a lecture on that, but I don't do that just to do it, but I don't do that type of stuff anymore because it costs so much money. The books that were sold in the New Age world are undersold. That's right, they're undersold, meaning that they should be sold for a lot more money, but people can't afford it. That's why they do that. So that's why I'm talking about economics. People cannot afford it, and you want to teach this stuff because it is important. But if people can't afford it, my ancestors came to me and said they don't need it. If they don't afford it, don't do it anymore. Only when they give you what you really think it's worth. You say, well, this information is priceless, but then you go and charge $2 and $15 for books that could have easily been sold for $500, $1,000, $700. Like, who gonna pay that for a book? Well, you don't want the knowledge. A lot of these books I'm saying that I've read from high level spiritual teachers, I've only paid $25 and $30 for. I would have paid $500 for it. Seriously. If you go to college, you will pay $500 for a textbook. Why? But you can't pay $500 for a car book. Why is it tech? Because it's college and they got insurance. No, they know the value of knowledge and what it's really supposed to be worth. College is the only demonstration of it. You're underpaid in high school. You're underpaid in middle school, elementary. All those teachers are underpaid. For whatever you teach, I don't care what it is, you're underpaid. Just know that. You could be getting paid more doing seminars or something. If you really want to get paid for your image and how you know what I'm saying, to get in front of people and that. So I chose to, become a street artist and to show that, and that's what I'm moving into and announcing to everybody now. And I have a certificate to back what I do as well, and they're very professional. And don't get me wrong, I'm not really, they call it homeless, but I'm a traveling man. Meaning that I move from place to place. I work on the sea as service. So I work by sea on as service. So that's my lifestyle. I have to do all of that and exchange all of that for this. I have to give up having a house. There's no such thing as that for me. Y'all live somewhere predominantly, and I got to put up money. It's called Rand notes. I don't use money like you. Like money to me is just another means of exchange to get stuff because they won't let me keep money. The only money I can hold for myself is Rand notes. It's called Rand notes. And other forms of currency too. Yen notes. I can hold yen notes and dirham notes. But like euros, I can't even hold that. Like certain money, they won't let me hold it. Meaning that if I hold, I'm being taxed hourly for just having it on me. So it's like not even any good. So that's like what I moved into. It's like a lot of rules with it. So that's why I'm saying like everything I do now, I don't care how you square it up or what you think about it, or how the video should look, and it's underproduced and it's hood material, but it's still worth a lot more than what's being talked about. And I'm in the process of being able to. I'm glad I worked with Elon Musk and he changed Twitter over. And I believe my teachers influenced him to do that. I really do. But he changed it to X because that's important. Because that's going into taxes, man. It was a powerful move you went into to be able to offset a lot of what the tax people get for people that undercharge for stuff, and you turn around and end up owing them money because you was undercharging for services, and now you throwing away your money to the IRS. See what I'm saying? You could have donated that same amount of money to someone else, and then you wasted it and gave it to the IRS for a tax deductible donation, of which everything we do is tax deductible because we have agreement with the U.S. government. So it's nothing illegal about giving us donations at all. When I say stuff that I do is illegal on this particular what I do, I'm just speaking of in the creation of the art. It's protected up under a job. But a lot of things that you do that's protected up under a job aren't necessarily constitutional. That's what I mean by illegal. It's not necessarily constitutional, but hey, this is a corporation mixed in with what you would call a free society. So a lot of stuff that the corporation does is illegal. Just the bottom line. But technically, even your job, you may be doing stuff at your job that's illegal. You like, but I'm an employee and I took a drug test and got fingerprints screened, and you may be involved in illegal activity. They're not going to prosecute you for it because it's just levels to that. They may prosecute. You ever notice that the CEO is called a CEO? Did you know this is a military term? So they may take the CEO to a tribunal, military tribunal, and prosecute them. You won't hear anything about it because it's an executive prosecution. I've been through several being prosecuted as an executive. So yeah, it's a lot. That's what I'm into now is film. To the two beautiful women that asked me to, what's going on? Tell them about your whereabouts. That's what I'm into. So I appreciate everything. Hopefully you guys will put that up, and we'll be able to proceed and put out some new information about AI and stuff like that. But I want to finish this contract with Denzel, and we need $7. We need $7. So that's it, really. 13 signs astrology at gmail.com via PayPal. So have a good day, y'all. Hopefully I can hear from you guys, the women that, get some type of response, whether it's in the comments, what you think about me saying that, yeah, what I do is worth a lot more money and I need to increase my pay scale and tremendously though. What do you think? Should I just keep giving it out for free? Should the internet stay free? Even though they was moving billions on it in the 50s through BankNet. And now you're getting it all for free as a kickback, but that kickback is running out in 2023. So they're going to make you pay for airtime in a minute, like TV. They want the internet to be like TV in a minute. What do you think about all of this? Silenced in 2023. People can't speak. Leave in the comments. Peace.